Welcome to Trivia Quiz Rush. My name is Arno, I am your quiz host, and this is the newest edition of the weekly general knowledge quiz featuring rapid fire only questions. The questions are easy to medium, but you only have 3 seconds to answer them. See if you can beat the quiz challenge, and let's start the quiz. Good luck. What is a famous nickname commonly given to the city of Venice? The Floating City. Which actor played the lead role in the TV show Magnum P.I.? Tom Selleck. What is the scientific term for a disease-causing organism? Correct with pathogen. Which of these animals is naturally indigenous to Africa? That's a meerkat. People who suffer from coulrophobia are afraid of what? Clowns. What is the traditional Japanese robe worn with a wide obi belt? It's kimono. How many years passed before the can opener followed the tin can? That's 48 years. What did Michael Jordan pursue after leaving the NBA in 1993? Baseball. Which metal is widely used in modern rechargeable batteries? That's lithium. What is the name of Australia's huge dry interior wilderness? Outback. What element is commonly used to manufacture most computer chips? It's silicon. What type of military unit was a German panzer division in World War II? An armored unit. Which character in The Office was played by Steve Carell? Michael Scott. What central concept forms the basis of Aristotle's ethical philosophy? Correct with virtue. In German cuisine, what type of food is pumpernickel? That's bread. What is the typical gestation period for a human pregnancy? 40 weeks. Which European nation peacefully split into 2 countries in 1993? It's Czechoslovakia. Who shook hands with Elvis Presley in a famous 1970 photo? That's Richard Nixon. Which actor starred in Walker, Texas Ranger on television? Chuck Norris. Which white sauce is traditionally used when making lasagna? That's bechamel sauce. In cooking, what does the French term au gratin usually mean? Crust covered. True or false? All carrots are naturally orange. It's false. Which tennis legend earned the famous nickname FedEx? It's Roger Federer. Which NFL team won the very first Super Bowl back in 1967? The Green Bay Packers. How many points is a slam dunk worth in a basketball game? Correct with 2. What is the scientific study of lakes and inland freshwater ecosystems called? That's limnology. What is the day after Christmas called across Commonwealth nations? Boxing Day. Which green gemstone is also recognized as the May birthstone? It's emerald. What famous waterfall lies between Canada and the United States? That's Niagara Falls. What is the culinary term for igniting alcohol in a hot pan? Flambé. Which ancient artifact was famously decoded by Champollion? The Rosetta Stone. What is the official SI measurement unit used for energy? Joule. Which US president became the first to resign from office? It's Richard Nixon. Which of these designer shoe brands was Carrie Bradshaw obsessed with? It's Jimmy Choo. Which German city is internationally famous for Oktoberfest? Munich. Which military dictator ruled over Spain for many decades? Correct, with Francisco Franco. Which saint gave his name to Vatican City's main church? That's Peter. The name Europe comes from which ancient civilization's culture? Greek. What psychoactive substance is found in coffee and energy drinks? It's caffeine. In which city are the headquarters of the United Nations based? That's New York. Which art movement included Pollock and Willem de Kooning? Abstract Expressionism. Who invented the rubber vulcanization manufacturing process? That's Charles Goodyear. Which country produces the largest amount of coffee worldwide? Brazil. Which city contains both Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque? It's Istanbul. Which city serves as the capital of the island nation Barbados? It's Bridgetown. What nickname did Dr. Leonard McCoy have in Star Trek? Bones. In which business did Charles Louis Tiffany found his company? Correct, with jewelry. What is hydrochloric acid's main function inside the stomach? That's killing bacteria. What is the term for a medical professional still in training? Intern. Which Union general accepted Lee's surrender, ending the Civil War? General Ulysses S. Grant. Who is the author of the famous novel To Kill a Mockingbird? It's Harper Lee. Which nation is commonly called the Land of 1,000 Islands? Indonesia. What was the 1980s comedy drama starring Bruce Willis called? Correct, with Moonlighting. Which global alliance unites major emerging economies for cooperation? That's BRICS. Which planet in our solar system famously rotates on its side? It's Uranus. Which Scottish festival honors poetry, haggis, and whiskey traditions? It's Burns Night. Which German city became linked to the World War II war crimes trials? That's Nuremberg. Which geometric shape can correctly be described as scalene? Triangle. What word is considered the direct opposite meaning of artificial? That's natural. Who wrote the groundbreaking book on the origin of species? Charles Darwin. In which Dutch city is the International Court of Justice located? It's The Hague. Who succeeded Neville Chamberlain as British Prime Minister? Winston Churchill. What is the official chemical symbol used for the element tin? Correct with SN. By what cooking method is a traditional pretzel usually prepared? That's baked. Which Friends character worked professionally as a paleontologist? Ross. What new planetary classification was Pluto given back in 2006? It's dwarf planet. Which Greek mythological hero was famously killed by a wild boar? That's Adonis. Which chess piece can move only horizontally or vertically? Rook. In which film did Malcolm McDowell wear a white suit costume? A Clockwork Orange. Which English king was historically nicknamed Lionheart? Richard I. How old was Frank Epperson when he created the popsicle treat? It's 11. Which male tennis star holds the record for most Grand Slam titles? Novak Djokovic. Which American state is home to the Mount Rushmore Monument? Correct with South Dakota. Which Egyptian god was closely linked with the river Nile? That's Happy. Which ancient Jordanian city was carved directly into red rock? Petra. Which nation achieved the first successful soft moon landing? It's the Soviet Union. In which country can the prehistoric Stonehenge monument be found? That's United Kingdom. What is the linguistic study of word origins officially called? Etymology. Who amazed audiences with I Dreamed a Dream in Britain's Got Talent? That's Susan Boyle. The Forbidden City Palace complex is located in which city? That's Beijing. Which major disaster took place in England during the year 1666? It's Great Fire of London. Where in the human body is the strongest muscle located? Jaw. Which ancient civilization is credited with creating the alphabet? Correct with Phoenicians. What is the official monetary currency used in Hong Kong? That's Hong Kong dollar. What hot wind blows north from the Sahara toward the Mediterranean? Sirocco. What nickname was Major Houlihan given in the TV series MASH? It's Hot Lips. Which country did Japan officially declare war on during 1914? That's Germany. What skin condition caused by mites leads to severe itching? Scabies. What is the official SI measurement unit used for frequency? That's hertz. Which term describes a material that poorly conducts electricity? Insulator. In which Charles Dickens novel does the character Fagin appear? It's Oliver Twist. How many Wimbledon finals featured Venus against Serena Williams? 4 times. Who famously sailed around the globe aboard the HMS Beagle? Correct, with Charles Darwin. Electromagnetic induction was discovered by which scientist? That's Michael Faraday. Which Spanish town hosts the famous La Tomatina Tomato Festival? That's Buñol. What is the most widely consumed and recognized type of alcohol? It's ethanol. Which human organ mainly filters waste products from the blood? That's kidneys. Approximately how long does sunlight take to travel to Earth? 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Which actor played Ralph Cramden in the Honeymooners sitcom? That's Jackie Gleason. Mansa Musa ruled which wealthy and powerful African empire? Mali. Which branch of mathematics focuses on shapes and spatial relationships? It's geometry. Which US president introduced the New Deal during the Depression? Franklin D. Roosevelt. Who wrote The Great Gatsby set during the Roaring '20s era? F. Scott Fitzgerald. What is the term for a person who completely avoids alcohol? That's teetotaler. Which of these words is considered a synonym for skinny? Emaciated. Which of the following birds is classified as a seabird? It's fulmar. What is the primary pigment found inside human red blood cells? That's hemoglobin. What common name is given to frozen solid carbon dioxide? Dry ice. Who is commonly credited with charting the Great Barrier Reef? That's James Cook. Which soft drink used the choice of a new generation slogan? Pepsi. What was the main royal palace used by the Russian Tsars? It's Winter Palace. What physical quantity is officially measured using the Kelvin scale? Temperature. Which European country celebrates Bastille Day every July 14th? Correct, with France. What is the name of Elon Musk's private aerospace company? That's SpaceX. What alternative name is commonly used for chickpeas? Garbanzo beans. Which scale is traditionally used to measure chili pepper heat? It's Scoville scale. Which neurological disorder causes recurring seizures in the brain? That's epilepsy. Which English monarch became known historically as the Virgin Queen? Queen Elizabeth I. In which country can you visit the famous Sagrada Familia Church? That's Spain. Animals mainly active during twilight hours are called what? Crepuscular. Which city is the official capital of the nation of Qatar? It's Doha. Which ancient empire was ruled by the leader Montezuma I? Aztec. What original name was nearly given to Mickey Mouse instead? Correct with Mortimer. What profession did Frasier Crane have in the sitcom Frasier? That's psychiatrist. What does the internet acronym IDC most commonly stand for? I don't care. Who built the first commercially successful combustion engine automobile? It's Carl Benz. What firearm component is designed to absorb recoil force? That's buffer. What term means the legal authority to act for another person? Proxy. Which NASA shuttle deployed the Hubble telescope during 1990? The Discovery. Which escape artist inspired generations of later magicians? Harry Houdini. What is the proper name for a shelter used to house pet rabbits? It's hutch. Kathmandu is the capital city of which South Asian nation? Nepal. Who is credited with inventing the very first electric battery? Correct with Alessandro Volta. How long did the historic Battle of the Alamo officially last? That's 13 days. In which year was the German army defeated at Stalingrad? 1943. How many total days are included in a standard leap year? It's 366. In which African country does the Nile River empty into the sea? That's Egypt. Which company owned and operated the famous Titanic ship? White Star Line. Albumin found in eggs comes from which specific egg part? That's white. Who is credited with writing the ancient epic poem The Odyssey? Homer. Which type of hat was especially popular among men in the 1940s? It's a fedora. What do the initials TT stand for in the Isle of Man race? Tourist Trophy. Which natural disaster intensity is measured using the Fujita scale? Correct with tornado. Which toy became the first ever advertised on television? That's Mr. Potato Head. What sport is officially recognized as the national sport of Japan? Sumo wrestling. What word means the quality of being truthful and open? It's candor. What was the first US satellite successfully launched into orbit? That's Explorer 1. Which children's storybook bear carried a "please look after this bear" note? Paddington Bear. Which plant cell organelle is responsible for photosynthesis? That's chloroplast. From which region did the traditional kaftan originally come? Middle East. I got one more open bonus question coming up for you, but before that, please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this quiz. You could also become a channel member if you really want to support the channel. And here is that bonus question. The Arabian Sea is part of which ocean? The answer appears in a few seconds. Don't forget to leave your score in the comments down below or just leave a reply. I read every one of them. And if you want to keep watching fun quizzes, then be sure to click this one to keep going. See you in the next one.